Welcome to the Explainer. So today we're tackling a massive decision, one that trips up, well, pretty much every new e-commerce seller out there, Etsy versus Wix. Which one actually makes the most sense if you want to build a real profitable online store as we head into 2026? If you've been sitting there frustrated or just totally confused about where to even start, you're in exactly the right place. We're going to look at the hard data, the true out-of-pocket costs, and the completely different ways these two platforms operate behind the scenes.
Okay, let's just dive right in, shall we? The ultimate beginner's question really boils down to this one fundamental choice. Do you start selling your products on a massive, established marketplace, or do you build your own independent platform completely from the ground up? It's a huge fork in the road, right? And it dictates literally everything about how your business is going to operate, how you actually find your customers, and most importantly, how much money you get to keep at the end of the day. But before we get into the nitty-gritty of the costs, we need to do a quick credibility check, just to wrap our heads around the sheer scale of the platforms we're comparing. Look at the sheer volume Wix operates at. We're talking over 282 million registered users globally. It is an absolute powerhouse. Actually, it's the fastest growing major website platform in the world right now. Their e-commerce side processes over 300 million transactions every single year. And collectively, Wix stores are generating over $10 billion in sales. So if you're sitting there wondering, hey, can Wix actually handle serious volume? The answer is a resounding 100% yes. But then, flip the coin. Etsy operates on a totally different but equally wild scale. They're a dedicated marketplace with over 95 million active buyers. Think about that. People are logging on to Etsy right this second, with their credit cards in hand, specifically hunting for handmade, vintage, and print-on-demand goods. It's the undisputed heavyweight champion for those specific categories globally. So both platforms have serious scale, but they work in completely different ways. And honestly, that changes everything.
All right, let's get into section 1, the true cost breakdown. We're going to uncover the real fees here.
This right here is where people get a pretty nasty surprise if they haven't run the numbers ahead of time. Let's start with Wix. What I absolutely love here is the predictability of it all. When you pay month to month, Wix hosting starts at $35 a month on their core plan. That covers your whole store, your integrations, basically all your tools. And here's how the transaction commissions play out. On that core plan, you pay a 4% transaction commission. But if you scale up to the business plan at $85 a month, that commission drops to 2%. And if you upgrade to Business Elite at $195 a month, your transaction commission drops all the way to 0. Now, you still pay standard payment processing fees, the usual 2.9% plus 30 cents. But the platform's actual cut literally shrinks as you grow. The whole cost is super predictable before you've even made a single sale. Etsy? Totally opposite approach. Sure, opening a shop is technically free, but the very second you list a product, the compounding fees start kicking in. First, you've got a 20-cent listing fee that renews every 4 months, or every single time that product sells. When you do finally get a sale, Etsy takes a 6.5% transaction fee on the total amount. And yes, that includes the shipping cost. Then Etsy Payments hits you with a 3% plus 25-cent fee. Add all that up, and you are easily losing around 10% of your money before you've even paid to manufacture the product. And wait, it actually gets worse. If you hit over $10,000 in sales a year, you're mandatorily enrolled in a 12% off-site ads fee. Under that threshold, it's a default 15% fee unless you remember to manually opt out. It is ridiculously easy for a beginner to accidentally sell at a loss on Etsy if they don't price these stacked fees into their margins from day one. Moving on to section 2. Setup and security. Basically, how to build this thing fast and keep it safe. So, knowing your math is absolutely crucial, right? But once that's sorted, how hard is it to actually launch? Honestly, Etsy's native setup is genuinely simple. You create an account, name your shop, throw up some listings, and boom, you're live. The platform completely handles the design and the hosting, but Wix has totally revolutionized this whole process with their Aria AI builder. You do not need to know a single line of code or deal with complex server administration. You literally just chat with the AI, answer a couple of questions about the vibe of your brand, and Aria can generate your entire custom store in like 5 minutes. Seriously, if you can tap a smartphone screen, you can set up a completely independent Wix store today. But hey, what happens when things go sideways? Most people don't give a second thought to cybersecurity until they've actually been hacked. Now, Etsy handles security for their marketplace, sure, but your specific account is still totally vulnerable if someone swipes your password. Wix, on the other hand, handles security comprehensively for your entire standalone website. They hold PCI DSS Level 1 certification. To put that into perspective, that is the exact same payment security standards used by major banks and huge financial institutions. Customer data is encrypted, SSL certificates are free and on by default, and you literally never have to worry about managing backend patches or hiring some expensive developer to monitor your server. Wix just handles the whole shebang for you quietly in the background.
All right, Section 3. This is about owning your audience. The classic debate, renting space versus actually owning the brand.
I'll say it right now, this is honestly probably the most important concept in this entire explainer. Etsy's biggest advantage is traffic, for sure. Buyers are already there, typing what they want into the search bar, but man, it is a double-edged sword. You are competing with millions of other sellers, and you are entirely at the mercy of Etsy's algorithm. And the worst part? You don't actually own the customer relationship. You can't just email your buyers directly to say, hey, check out this new product. You are basically renting space in Etsy's digital mall. If they decide to change their rules, or if some automated bot flags your account by mistake, your entire business can be suspended and just vanish overnight. With Wix, okay, you don't get that automated traffic right out of the gate, but you own everything. You own your domain, your customer email list, your data, your brand. Nobody can just shut you down on a whim.
And think about the long game here. When the time comes to eventually sell your business, because you should always be building to sell, true brand ownership translates to massive value. Because you actually own the customer list and that standalone domain on Wix, your store becomes a tangible, sellable asset. Independent e-commerce brands regularly sell for anywhere between 2 to 5 times their annual profit. Try taking a rented Etsy store to a broker site and see what happens. You're getting nowhere near that kind of multiple, simply because you don't own the underlying platform. Which brings us to Section 4, the ultimate setup bonus. We are solving the traffic problem.
Now, I know what you might be thinking. Okay, owning my store sounds amazing, but how do I actually find winning products and get people to visit the site? Well, if you're dropshipping or doing print on demand, Wix natively integrates with Zendrop. Zendrop fulfills millions of orders, so they see exactly what is selling globally in real time. And here is where it gets crazy. There's a tool called Store Build AI. It's a Zendrop company that taps directly into this live data. It automatically identifies 20 top-performing products right now, writes the descriptions for you, loads all the images, and connects the fulfillment directly inside your Wix store. The research is just done for you automatically. Plus, you get access to a $3,000 e-commerce mastermind from a former super affiliate, teaching you exactly how to drive serious traffic to that brand new store. Now, I want to be super transparent here. Actually, literally crystal clear on this because it's important. You cannot just go over to the regular Wix website, sign up, and get these tools. Store Build AI and that $3,000 traffic mastermind are absolutely not available natively on the Wix platform. They don't just hand this out to everyone browsing their site. The only way you can unlock this entirely free automated store stock, so the product research, the AI loading, the high-level traffic training, is exclusively through the affiliate link provided. Grabbing your Wix core plan through that specific link is the exact trigger that unlocks all of these massive bonuses at absolutely no extra cost to you.
Oh, and one more massive pricing hack to keep in mind once you do use that link. We talked about the month-to-month pricing earlier, right? Well, when you select annual billing during your setup, the platform automatically slashes anywhere between 20% to 50% off the regular monthly rates, depending on whatever promotions they're running. Plus, when you do that, you also secure a completely free custom domain name for your entire first year. So by leveraging the link and choosing annual billing, you're getting your hosting, your free domain, your product research, the Store Build AI setup, and that traffic mastermind all bundled together into one incredibly discounted package.
So where does that leave us? The crucial takeaway here is taking action based on exactly where you are right now. Etsy is a fantastic starting point if you just want to test the waters with handmade or print-on-demand goods. You can leverage their built-in traffic, even if you have to deal with those compounding fees. But if you are genuinely ready to build a real asset, lock in predictable costs, and own a brand that you can scale and eventually sell for a big multiple, Wix is absolutely the clear path forward. So I want to pass it over to you. Which platform actually fits your business phase right now? Are you just testing things out on Etsy, or are you ready to build true ownership on Wix? Let me know down in the comments. And hey, don't forget to check out that link if you're ready to unlock the automated Wix stack. Thanks so much for hanging out with me for this explainer, and I will catch you in the next one.